Good evening, everyone. This is your news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, everyone is having a wonderful day. Today is Sunday, August 3rd. We are going by, it's crazy. It really is. Um, you know, Thankfully, our prayers have been answered. It is less hot today by a long shot. It is only 90 right now. Hopefully, it goes down a little bit during the recording, but my house has also been freezing and my computer has been inside for the most part of today. So, my computer also feels nice and cold when I touch it. So, hopefully, that helps as well. But outside of that, outside of the issues we had yesterday, hopefully, all you guys are doing well. I've had a pretty solid day so far. Haven't done much. Did some shiny Aerodactyl hunting, and that's about it for me. But hopefully, all you guys are doing well. Let's get right into the news from today. Moving on into the Trump administration segment, as we do, the first topic we have today is Trump was booed at the WWE Super Slam. A video of Trump was shown on stage at the WWE SummerSlam as fans booed the president. The video showed Trump meeting Triple H at the White House, and fans booed loudly over the video. Of course, there were still some cheers, but it was a majority boos. The video showed the moment Trump signed the fitness test order alongside Triple H and other sports stars who are terrible people, of course. This is kind of crazy. Trump claims the WWE as his thing, essentially. He's in the Hall of Fame for the sport. He was a predominant figure alongside of it for a while, if I'm not mistaken. Not to mention, he's supposed to host an event at the White House for the sport next summer. I mean, it's crazy. I genuinely thought the WWE would support him. I thought that would be, one of the sports where he's supported the most. I'm not a fan of the WWE. I don't watch it, but from the people that I know that watch the WWE, that's kind of the vibe I got. But hey, this wasn't expected, so good job, WWE fans. Kudos to you guys. Hell yeah. I didn't expect that at all. I hope we keep seeing it. If we can get Trump where it truly, kind of matters to him to some degree, we're clearly doing something. Anyways, moving on, Trump says that it is less likely for him to pardon Diddy. Trump says that he considers Diddy sort of self-innocent, or half-innocent, sorry. Despite his criminal conviction in July, he said that it would be hard to pardon him, saying it was more difficult because of past criticism. Trump spoke about Combs on Newsmax and said he was essentially, I guess, sort of half-innocent. He was celebrating a victory, but I guess it was not as good a victory. Sorry, excuse me. He went on to say, "It's hard, we're all human beings, and we don't like to have things cloud our vision, our judgment, right? But when someone, and you were fine, and then you run for office, and maybe he made some terrible statements. I don't know. It makes it more difficult to do." Saying we're all human beings is crazy when you're ethnically cleansing essentially one of the largest ethnic groups in the entire country. Also, saying Diddy is half innocent is crazy because he is definitely not innocent. I mean, he dug homes under people's houses, or tunnels under people's houses, sorry. Um, it is so wild, the things that Trump says day after day, just freely. Yes, I get we have freedom of speech in this country, but somebody's got to call his ass out. Somebody, genuinely. I mean, I guess I am, but I'm not big enough for doing that yet. Yet is the big statement in that one. Um, but it is truly bullshit. Trump is a horrible person, and he should have consequences for the things he says. I mean, there's no way he should be able to freely say, we're all human beings, while he's ethnically cleansing one of the largest groups of people in this entire country. That is fucking disgusting and crazy. In other news, for the final Trump's topic, Trump will not require health insurance to cover IVF. The Trump administration campaigned on forcing health insurance companies to cover IVF, but now they're backing away from it. The Post reported the White House has privately moved away from pushing legislation to help the issue, despite the campaign promise. Trump, on multiple occasions, called himself the father of IVF and even said the Trump administration would pay for treatment by mandating insurance companies to pay for the treatments. Another lie down the field from the Trump administration. Let's see if MAGA gets upset about it or if they just ignore this one completely. IDF is useful on all sides, whether you're on the left or the right. Many couples use it to have the opportunity to have a child. If I'm paying hundreds in health insurance, it should cover health expenses all across the board. It really should. So, you know, I don't know much about IVF. I know a little bit about it. I know that it's helpful for, infertile people, for one. Also, I know a lot of lesbian couples use it to have a children. I believe it impregnates the egg. I'm not an expert on birth. I know a little bit about the female reproductive system, but not too much. I know, you know, the stuff they teach you in high school and a little bit extra. But it impregnates the egg. From my understanding, it is a process that they use to artificially impregnate the egg inside of the woman, and then the baby develops. And people use that all across the country to have the opportunity to have a child, which I think is a great thing. If you can't have a child, but there's a way to artificially make sure that you can have that child, I think that's a great thing. I think everybody should have to experience the opportunity of having a child. And especially if you have the opportunity to birth a child and that's something you want to do, I think you should have that opportunity to as well. I think that's a great thing. Genuinely having a family is something great, and not something that everyone gets. So I think if you have that opportunity and you have that chance, go for it. Absolutely. And insurance should pay for it. I mean, if you pay so much for insurance in this company, health insurance, that is, and you really get jack shit from it. I mean, we have to wait months on months on months for any kind of appointment, when that's the same thing they do in other countries with free healthcare. Like, it's genuinely crazy. If I'm paying so much for healthcare, not only should it be like that, but I should be able to get anything I'm paying for, genuinely. Anyways, moving on to a segment about the Senate, as we have one topic today, as the Senate has confirmed a Fox News host to be the top U.S. attorney. The Senate has confirmed former Fox News host and prosecutor Jeanine Pirro as the U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. The vote ended 50 to 45, with 6 senators not voting at all. Pirro has been serving as the interim attorney for D.C. since May, and she was appointed by Trump. In a post on True Social, Trump called the former prosecutor a powerful crusader for victims of crime, and he said that she was incredibly well qualified for the position. As of May 11th, she is the 23rd former Fox News employee hired by Trump during this administration, and I'm sure there are many more since then. I don't get it. They're just yes men, and, most of them can't even do a good job. You're telling me there are no more successful yes men than Fox News hosts? Like, come on, dude. Really? That is your best outlook. Can you imagine if Joe Biden had hired someone from NBC or CNN? MAGA would be foaming at the mouth. It is so dumb that hosts on propaganda networks can get jobs within the US governments without a care in the world. Genuinely, it is so, so dumb, and it shouldn't be the case. That needs to change. It should be harder for people to be put into positions like this. We should not have Fox News hosts working in the federal government. That is crazy. Just like Pete Hegseth, former Fox News host, also an alcoholic, is the Secretary of Defense. That is insane. Genuinely, it is. Moving on to a segment about the Texas Democrats who are fighting gerrymandering actively within their state. Those Texas Dems have decided to flee the state to prevent Republicans from voting on the matter. Democratic lawmakers in Texas have fled the state to block the passage of the new congressional map that would give Republicans 5 new seats in the House next year. All 62 of the Texas House Democrats left the state to deprive the Republican chamber of the quorum. The House said it can only conduct meetings of 100 members, or if 100 members are present, and the House only consists of 150 members. Representative Gene Wu said in a statement, "This is not a decision that we make lightly, but this is one we make with absolute moral clarity." The representative accused Governor Greg Abbott of using an intentionally racist map to steal voices of millions of Black and Latino Texans, all to execute a corrupt political deal. This is big, and the type of play we need to see from the Democratic Party if they want to win everything or anything at all. Republicans play dirty, and if the Democrats want to win, they need to play dirty as well. Democrats need to win in the midterms. Maybe not in a landslide, but in a landslide would be nice. They need to stop Republicans from getting in any way they can. And if all it takes is one branch, we need to at least get that branch so we can stabilize it. So let's get it done. Make sure to go vote when the midterms come around. I don't care who you are, where you came from, or where you go. Just vote blue in the midterms because we need to get it done. Genuinely, like someone needs to do something to at least prevent Trump from running amok in this country. And if that's going to be in the House, if that's going to be in the Senate, one of those two branches has to do it. So go out and vote blue when the midterms come around. We can worry about the problems with the Democrats after the Trump administration. For now, we got to make sure we can stop the Trump administration first. Moving on into the next topic, the governor of Illinois, is helping Texas Democrats get this done. Texas Democrats have fled to Illinois. J.B. Pritzker, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct, sorry if I'm not, has allowed Texas Democrats to come to his state to counter Republican redistricting. Around 30 Texas Democrats are expected to spend the week in the state, and a deal made with the governor, Governor Pritzker, has directed his staff to provide any support to the Texas lawmakers, and the other half are expected to go to Albany and Boston for the week. This is a super thing for Governor Pritzker to do. These lawmakers will need all the help they can get to, combat the Republican force in Texas. And, it's great that they're getting it. Good job, Illinois, here. You guys are helping out in a spot that I didn't think you would help out from. I feel like we don't hear a lot necessarily from Illinois. But it's cool to see a state doing something. It's a blue state, which is shocking to me. I feel like that's not really a blue state, but I guess Chicago probably does play a big role in that. But I think it's cool. I think it's very cool to see support. So good job, Illinois. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great things. Of course, you guys also grow corn there. You got the Bears. I'm not gonna say much about that. But you got the Bulls. The Bulls were pretty cool. I remember Derrick Rose. What a tragedy. Anyways, we got to move on. As the Texas Attorney General, in a bit of a shift, has called to arrest these Democratic lawmakers. The Texas Attorney General has called to arrest the Democrats who lead the state in a new post on Twitter calling Democratic lawmakers cowards. He wrote, Democrats in the Texas House who try and run away like cowards should be found, arrested, and brought back to the Capitol immediately. He continued, we should use every tool at our disposal to hunt down those who think they are above the law. This is wild, not to mention his party is actively gerrymandering the state, which is a blatant infringement on voter rights. I mean, the hypocrisy is insane. Democrats need to fight back, and I hope they continue to do so, whether that's by leaving the state or refusing to vote at all. However they can, it needs to get done one way or another, and I'm glad to see that they're doing it. Moving on into the final topic for tonight as we go into our other news segment, the Smithsonian is restoring the Trump impeachment info. The Smithsonian has announced that it will update the exhibit at the National Museum of American History once again to show the impeachments of Trump. The statement reads, as the keeper of memory in the nation, it is our privilege and responsibility to tell accurate and complete histories. They said they were not asked by any administration to remove the exhibit, but removed the placards due to it not meeting the museum standard for appearance, and it was going to be seeing an upgrade. This is good to know that it's just seeing upgrades and not a complete removal, because the public shouldn't forget what a terrible job Trump did in his term from 2016 to 2020. He is a horrible president and always has been. He needs to be removed from office because, for the second term, for another 4 years, we are going to have to watch him attempt at destroying the country when that shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't allow it. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you are on YouTube, please consider subscribing, dropping a like, dropping a comment down below. Let me know your take on all the news from today. We're on our way to 500 subscribers, and I would love it if you could help me get there, because that's the real goal right now. If you're on Substack, please consider subscribing. All funds go to me. They'll help me pay for the things that I'll need to pay for in college, like clothing and food and all those kinds of things, or a new computer, all those kinds of things. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. It means the world to me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in tomorrow's episode. Later.